Well, welcome back. We had a very low volume day on the street. The Dow finishing down 0.2%, about 1/10 off the S&P 500, but the Nasdaq in positive territory. And let's get some thoughts on this. Yu-Dee Chang, who is principal and chief trader at Ace Investment Strategies, joins us now live from Washington, D.C. Yu-Dee, do you read much into this low volume on the street, or was it just the tail end of the long weekend?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's pretty much just the effect of that. And don't forget, there's a lot of numbers are to be released for the rest of the week. Of course, the FOMC meeting at Bernanke's personal show coming up on Wednesday. I think all that led to the so-called lower trading volume.
Economic numbers and information out. In the meantime, the market seems to be still focusing on earnings out. Kimberly-Clark spooked a lot of investors with concerns that we're starting to see inflation creep through and crimp some of its profit margins. Is this something that's concerning you, or the fact that we had so many strong earnings numbers coming out? Can we look through this result from the company?
Yeah, I think right now the market is definitely looking through it. Right now it's about 33%, well, 1/3 of the S&P 500 companies have reported. Right now the so-called earnings beat rate is about 68%. Historically, earnings beat rate is about 62% or so. So you're right. Earnings has been spectacular. Of course, market pretty much climbs the wall of worries. I think down the road, everyone is worried about inflation. People are saying that, well, eventually we do have to pay the piper. But right now, it looks like everything's pretty fine. S&P earnings coming in about $99, $98, which only gives a market PE of about 14. So that's why many people are still saying, despite the fact that the market is climbing, the valuation still pretty fairly valued.
Yeah, all right, Yu-Dee, you're worried about Wednesday, your time, when the Fed wraps up a two-day meeting and Ben Bernanke faces the press for the first time?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, huh? This is the first time. Usually, FOMC meeting result comes out at 2:15. With this Wednesday, it will come out at 12:30. At 2:15, Ben Bernanke will have his personal press conference. I don't think people are worried. Basically, Bernanke has always been taking a dovish stance. People are expecting him to take the same stance. Of course, what's really important is that I'm sure people will be asking him questions, right? We all want to know, what does he really think about the potential inflation down the road and the state of the economy? I think the consensus is that he'll pretty much brush it off by saying, you know what, the core PPI, CPI is what we're looking at. There's no inflation. That's what he will be saying.
Yu-Dee, getting back to the earnings season, the oil majors have outperformed this year. We're expecting windfall profits again from the likes of Exxon and Chevron. Has a lot of this good news been priced into the stock?
Yeah, I think so. If you think about it, the oil companies pretty much recovered from the oil spill about half a year ago or a year ago. Now they're up about 18% for the year. I think some of it had already been factored, were baked into the prices already. But overall speaking, I'm still in the camp that we will see higher commodity prices, we will see higher oil prices. So I still expect these oil companies, majors, to do well. And don't forget, a lot of these major oil companies do have earnings coming from overseas. So this declining dollar is really helping them out as well. So I think on the very short-term basis, they may have overrun themselves a little bit. But I think on an intermediate-term basis, I actually continue to expect them to do well.
All right. You're a trader. You're a chief trader. Tactically, what are you doing right now, Yu-Dee, with money?
Well, a couple of things. We're buying precious metals. We're using different ways. We're using the ETFs on gold. We're using gold futures, believe it or not. And we're actually selling some puts. And we're also using gold and silver mining shares. We believe gold and silver are heading higher. Also, we're also buying dips on the oil market, whether it's the integrated oil companies or the oil themselves. And the third play that we have is still sector rotating through a lot of these companies with overseas earnings, such as Coke and Pepsi. And we also like the biotech stocks, of course, on a rolling basis. We still believe there's more upside to the market. But like you were saying, as a trader, on the shorter term basis, we're getting ready to take some profit off the table, though.
Okay, it's good to know. Yu-Dee, stay right there. We'll come back and talk more in just a bit. Yu-Dee Chang, questions for him, email us, squawk@cnbcasia.com, the address. The fate of Galleon hedge fund founder Rajaratnam now lies in the hands of 12 jurors. Rajaratnam is the